Eastern PA Weather 30 meteorologist Bobby Marticher with your outlook for October 25th, 2018. We're going to have high pressure and control of our weather moving in from the eastern Great Lakes today. That is going to lead to mostly sunny skies and a continuation of the cooler temperatures as they flow around. This high pressure is still from the northwest, so temperatures are going to be on either side of 50 degrees from north to south today, and still remaining chilly for this time of year. But it will be mostly sunny today, and then we get into the overnight hours. High pressure will be over top of the region, so we're expecting clear to partly cloudy skies overnight. Not very cold, though, compared to some nights that we've had previously, but we will have some below 32-degree readings in the far northern areas, probably mid-30s in the central locations, and then upper 30s further south. So that's what we're looking at for the overnight period. And then we get into Friday, and we have this coastal storm that's going to be on approach, but we'll have any partly cloudy skies in the morning will give way to increasing cloudiness in the afternoon. The question is going to be the timing of this and exactly when it comes in. I know Friday night, a lot of you have been asking about trick-or-treat night in some towns that have celebrated on Friday evening as opposed to the actual holiday. And we will be running into some rain issues during the evening. For now, I'm just going to give you a 7-day overview first. We're going to go back to this coastal storm in the second half of the video, and I'll break down exactly what we're expecting from this system in terms of impacts. So we're just going to go through a generalized timing right now. Friday evening it moves in, and then it will continue in the overnight and will become heavy as we get late in the overnight period on Friday into Saturday morning. You see that here, low pressure tracking directly over our region, over eastern Pennsylvania. You see, and this is a change from previous runs that had it over Delaware and New Jersey. It has moved a little bit west in here in the more recent runs of the guide. Is now situated over eastern Pennsylvania by the time we get to Saturday evening. So we will have an all-day rain event on Saturday. Does not look like we're getting any breaks until maybe very, very late in the day or evening, and that will taper to showers and then shut off. So then we get to Sunday, we're left with mostly cloudy skies, stray shower possible still in the morning mainly, and then we have another trailing piece of energy that's going to rotate around an upper level low that's sitting up here. And this piece of energy is going to spawn a surface low that's going to move through the region, but this is not going to be as nearly as potent as the first one. This is just a trailing piece of energy moving through a shortwave, and once that moves through the region, that's going to come through during the overnight hours, Sunday night or Sunday evening and overnight. And you might have a lingering shower here on Monday possible with mostly cloudy skies remaining. And then that system pulls away and we turn to partly to mostly sunny skies here on Tuesday. All right, so we're a little bit cooler here on Tuesday behind this system, and then we start to moderate a little bit once we get to Wednesday with temperatures up in the middle 50s. We're going to start to climb up closer to the 60-degree mark once we get toward the end of next week, as we have a little bit of a ridge building in ahead of this next cold front, which should come through maybe next weekend, but a little couple days here of warmer temperatures looks like towards the end of next week. Now let's get through this breakdown of the coastal system. Now again, we're going to back this up here a little bit so you can see this moving in. Here's our coastal system developing, and this is what it looks like by Saturday morning. Now the question has been timing. When does it get in here? Well, some of the global models are suggesting the farthest north that the rain gets, or at least accumulating rainfall gets to about right here by 8 o'clock. So if you're up here and you have trick-or-treat night 6 to 8 p.m., you're okay. All right, and then the bulk of the rain would be southwest of that line there that I drew down in this area. Okay, so this is just going to start off as showers regardless early on. The heavy stuff doesn't come until after 2 o'clock in the morning, early Saturday morning. Late Friday night, early Saturday morning. Okay, and then we will continue that heavy period through the morning hours on Saturday, maybe early afternoon. Then it starts to taper off the showers after that point before ending during the course of the evening. In terms of total precipitation, this is what we got. All right, heaviest in central Pennsylvania. We outlined that yesterday. This seems to be the bullseye jackpot area out here in the mountains of central Pennsylvania. But you also have some increased totals of areas. Yesterday we were looking at the rain projections that I showed on the video. Looked like there was going to be a little bit of a dry slot in the middle. Well, maybe, but if you want to call a dry slot an inch to an inch and a half, so be it. Okay, that's what we're looking at here in this area. And then you have some areas further east that are also getting into some heavier rain in here. It's going to be difficult at the exact points to nail down like who's going to get what, but just expect general 1 to 1.5 inches of rain over most areas with locally higher amounts possible, and 1 to 2 inches out here with, again, locally higher amounts possible. A little bit better potential out here in central PA to see some heavier rain due to some orographic lift principles going on here that will allow for that to occur. Now, again, going to timing here, we looked at this, and that this is what the global models have as far as timing, and you're not getting too far to the north. But if you go over to the latest NAM that ran this evening, this is looking at 5 p.m. and it's pretty far north, and a lot farther north than what we just showed you in the global models there. So there is a discrepancy of when it starts. Okay, so this is looking at 5 p.m. If I move ahead to the next frame to 8, and you see it's all the way up to almost the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area. So it's up, and it covers the entire state of New Jersey, Delaware, and showers have already begun. Now, the only silver lining of this, if this is correct with the timing, is that it will be light. Okay, it's not going to be heavy yet. We're not getting any of the heavy stuff until the overnight period, most likely after 2 a.m. Okay, so once we get into the overnight hours, we get into these heavier banding, and you can see that here. This is actually looking at 2 a.m., so you see the heavier bands coming through here, the heavier rain potential. The other side of this is the wind. We get into Friday evening, not too bad yet. Might be a little bit breezy Friday evening, not really too big of a deal. But once we get into that 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. period, look what happens. These greens here represent winds of 35 miles per hour or greater in gusts. So 35 to 45 are the gusts here. And then might even, I think your peak time for the winds are actually going to be between 8 a.m. on Saturday and 2 p.m. on Saturday. You can see that here. That's when low pressure is its closest point down here. And you can see these isobars right here. They're all very tightly packed. So some winds here that are going to be definitely in the 35 to 45 mile per hour range in gusts. But these little spots here that are in yellow are indicating possibly hitting 50 in isolated cases in a few areas. So it will be windy, and that will not be good for tree limbs, power outages, things like that. So this is this is probably, in my opinion, more so than rain. We dealt with plenty of rain this summer. 1.5 inches of rain is not a real big deal in the grand scheme of things. What we're talking about, prolonged wind event of wind gusts of 35 to 45 miles per hour, possibly even higher than that on Saturday morning. We could get some power outages. So that's probably the biggest impact in my book of this system moving into our region. And then once we get past this point and you get later in the afternoon, it will start to diminish. It would head towards evening, and the overnight period, the winds will start to die down. Last thing is the snow aspect. This has continually been going down with each model cycle. So this indicates to me there might be some mixing very early on at the onset of the precipitation in the highest elevations, and not doing anything, not sticking. Okay, so no snow aspect to this. This is all just a rain event, even if there is some brief mixing up here in the highest elevations, again above 1,500 feet, mainly in elevation. And it's only going to be in a few select spots that occurs, but that should quickly go over to rain for everyone after the system moves through. So this is a pretty sizable system for this time of year. October, late October is notorious for nor'easters, and this is definitely a nor'easter coming up the coast here. But as far as the sensationalism you hear on the media about how big and great this thing is, I think it's a little bit overblown there. Just dealing with a heavy rain event. Saturday's a wash, Friday night's a wash. Just a matter of timing. We're going to narrow down that timing of the start time. So I know that's very critical to some of you who have trick-or-treat night with the kids. And hopefully we can keep those kids dry as long as we can until it's over. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for October 26th, 2018.